Welcome to Q&A practice. We'll start out with the plaintiff attorney. Ready? Here we go. And did the defendant participate in one of those conversations? Yes. Describe it. Ms. Zadi, she had raised the question about whether we as students believe that terrorism is ever justified, and what is terrorism? Why do sometimes people resort to acts of terrorism to prove their points? Something along those lines. And did the defendant answer? Yes. What did he say? At this point in class, I remember we were having a debate about American foreign policy in the Middle East and what are the sort of issues that America deals with in the Middle East, and the defendant had raised a point that American foreign policy sometimes tends to be a little hostile towards the Middle East, persecuting Muslims, going to war, trying to take over the people's culture, to tell them what to do, stuff like that. And because of that, it's wrong. Americans shouldn't be allowed to just go wherever they want and try to force people to believe in what they believe and not let them live their own lives or believe their own things that they want to believe in. Did you ever visit the defendant at his residence in Cambridge? Yes. When? About the same time in the summer of 2012. So that's after you graduated, after you had already gone to college. When you came back? Yes. Why did you visit him that summer? I remember that specific night. Me and my mother had gotten into an argument, and me and my twin brother left the house for the night, so we needed a place to stay. So was it you and your brother went there? Yeah. When you got to his house in Cambridge, had you been there before? I had been around his house. I think that was the first time I had entered his home. And was there anyone else at home when you got there? It was just me and my twin brother, Jahar, and I believe his niece and brother's wife. Brother's wife? Yes. What did you guys do? We were inside the defendant's bedroom. I was on the top bunk bed, and the defendant and my brother were watching The Walking Dead on his computer. The TV show? Yes. Is that a TV show that he enjoyed? Yes. I'm going to show you some pictures. Call up 1185-01. This is for the witness, Your Honor. Do you recognize that? Yes. What is that? The defendant's home. 1185-12. What's that? That's the defendant's bedroom. And particularly, do you recognize the bed? Yes. The top bed bunk is where I slept that night. 1185-36. Do you recognize that? Yes. What is that? The defendant's desktop laptop computer. Is it a desktop or a laptop? It looks like a desktop. Was that in that room? Yes. The same room with the bed? Yes. Was that the defendant's room? Yes. 1201, please. Do you recognize that? Yes. What is that? That's a flag. Was that in the bedroom? Yes. I move into evidence 1185-01, 1185-12, 1185-36, and 1201. Objection to 1185-36, Your Honor, because I don't think it's been established that's what it looked like at that time. I think it's sufficient. I'll admit it. Asked to publish, Your Honor. Which one? I'm sorry, 1185-01. We'll start with, is this the structure in which the defendant lived? Yes. Was it the third floor of his apartment? Yes. 1185-12. And is this the bed in his room? Yes. It's a bunk bed. In this picture, in which direction was the computer? To the right side of the bed, towards over here. Okay. 1185-36. And this is a computer. Yes. And is this where they were watching The Walking Dead? Yes. And where in relation to this was the flag? Which direction? I believe the flag was along the wall towards the middle of the room. Can we get some clarification on which flag we're talking about? The flag that's depicted here or the other picture? We could move on. The flag on the wall that I showed you earlier, was that on the wall to the right? Yeah. Okay. Can we go to that exhibit 1201? So is this flag facing the bed? Yes. How long did you leave that morning? The next morning? Yes. Is that the only time you spent the night at the defendant's house? Yes. Has he come to your home? Yes, he'd come to my home before. Where is your home? My mother has an apartment in Cambridge near the Charles River. Is that off of Memorial Drive? Yes. I'd ask to show Exhibit 742. This is in evidence, Your Honor. This is in evidence. It is in evidence. Do you recognize this intersection? Yes, I do. And does it show where your mother lives? Yes, it does. Can you just circle that area? Okay. All right. So you just, sorry, that's all right. So let me just orient you a little bit. Are there two gas stations at that intersection? Yes. And there's a Shell gas station and a Mobil gas station? Yes. And next to the Mobil gas station where you just circled, is there an apartment tower? Yes. Okay. And is that where you grew up? Yes. One of the places you grew up? Yes. How much would the defendant visit you there? During high school, a lot. What's a lot mean? A few times a week. Exhibit 743, is this the Shell gas station from across the street? Yes, it is. How often would you go there? Every day. Would you go there with the defendant? Multiple times I've gone there with the defendant. Yes. Why would you go there with the defendant? Cop snacks, water, Gatorade, blunts to roll marijuana in. It sounds like you hung out with the defendant a fair amount up through high school. Yes. And then even afterwards in college, is that right? Yes. Did you ever know him to wear a knit hat like in the winter? Yes. I show you Exhibit 820. Just for the witness, Your Honor, do you recognize that? Yes. What do you recognize it to be? The defendant's Boston Red Sox winter hat. And you had seen him wearing this? Yes. I'd move into evidence. Exhibit 820. No objection. All right. Exhibit 1341, just for the witness. I'm not sure whether this is in. Strike that. 1349. Go back to 1341. Please, do you recognize this picture? Yes. What do you recognize it to be? The defendant in his bedroom, it seems. And how do you know that it's the defendant in his bedroom? The flag on the wall, the same flag you just were talking about a little while ago? Yes. Do you recognize the chair? Yes. Do you recognize the computer table? Yes. And was this in substantially the same condition of his room when you were there? Yes. I'd move into evidence. Exhibit 1341. No objection to the photo, Your Honor, but I can't even see what the writing is, and I don't think there's any foundation on that. We can redact that at this point, and it will. You should redact it before it's published then. Well, it's illegible. My eyes are pretty bad. The jury's vision might be a little better than mine. I think I can zoom in, Your Honor. That's a better, all right, and the rest will be redacted. Yes, Your Honor, okay. Or another witness will lay the foundation. All right, fine. Did you ever go to the apartment of Diaz Kadyrov? Yes, one time. Where was that? New Bedford, Massachusetts. And who did he live with? He lived with Asa and a couple of other Kazakhstans. Who is Asa? Asa Matt, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's a friend of the defendant's. Is it Sarkayov? Yes. And were they students at UMass Dartmouth? Yes. And how often would you go there? Repeat that. How often would you go to their apartment? I just went to their apartment one time. When was that? Sometime the spring of 2013. And who else was there when you got there? Me and the defendant, Asa, Diaz, a couple of Kazakhstans that I don't know the names of, a girl named Pamela, and another black student. I don't remember his name. I'm going to show you a photo. 1178, just for the witness, Your Honor. Do you recognize these people? Yes. Who do you recognize them to be? I recognize Asa, Diaz, and the defendant. Do you know the two people at the ends? I don't remember them. Do you know when this photo was taken? I believe in November. Were you present? No, but you've seen this photo before? Yes. All right, and does it fairly and accurately depict the defendant, Asa and Diaz? Yes. I'd move into evidence 1178. No objection. Thank you, Your Honor. For the jury, can you just circle Asa and Diaz again? This is Asa Diaz. Do you know how often the defendant would go to New York? No, I do not. I know he went there a few times. Did you ever go with him? No. Do you know whether he went with his Kazakh friends aside from this occasion? Objection, Your Honor. Foundation. I'll ask another question, Your Honor. Do you know whether he went in February of 2013? No, I do not. When's the last time you saw the defendant? About a day or two after my 20th birthday. When was that? April 2013. Was it early April? Yes. And where did you see him? I met him I met with him inside the parking lot of my mother's apartment complex. Go to Exhibit 743, please. I think this is in evidence, Your Honor. I'm sorry, 744, Your Honor. I believe this is in evidence. I don't know if it's been published. It is. Thank you. So, do you recognize this intersection? Yes, I do. All right, that will conclude our Q&A practice.